Welcome to our deep dive into Lust for Life.
Yeah.
Irving Stone's novel about Vincent van Gogh.
Mm-hmm.
You probably know Van Gogh for his sunflowers,
Right.
or Starry Night, that swirly one.
Right.
But today, we're going deeper.
Okay.
This is a journey into the artist himself.
Okay.
The guy behind those brushstrokes. We'll unpack
Right.
what makes Lust for Life more than just
Yeah.
a regular biography.
I love that.
Unearthing the surprising things
Yeah.
and the novel's perspective on Van Gogh's life and art.
It's really fascinating how the novel mirrors his life
Oh, yeah.
in those three distinct parts.
Right.
You know, beginning with the early years, searching for his purpose.
Mm.
Then we dive into
Yeah.
the artistic struggles, the breakthroughs, and then finally that decline and
Right.
that legacy he left behind.
Stone throws us right in, right?
He does.
Starting with Van Gogh's childhood.
Yeah.
Now, this may seem small, but it's important. He was the eldest surviving son.
Right.
What does that tell us about family dynamics way back then?
Oh, yeah.
Especially in a religious household like the Van Goghs were.
It hints at loss, doesn't it?
Yes.
The death of a child.
Well,
Especially the firstborn, you know? I
Yeah.
think that casts a big shadow.
Totally.
You can just imagine the expectations put upon young Vincent
Yeah,
to fill that role, you know?
definitely.
That was suddenly empty.
And this pressure is increased, right, by his father's profession.
Yeah.
A Dutch Protestant minister?
Right.
Strict,
Very strict.
from what we gather.
Yeah.
So religion's not just a job, it's
Yeah.
their entire life.
For their whole world.
Right. So it makes sense that Vincent would turn to faith
Makes sense.
trying to find his place.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't just a career choice,
Right,
but a way to connect with something bigger than himself.
right.
And that empathy he's known for, that desire to serve others,
Uh-huh.
rooted right there in those early years.
Makes the next move even more confusing.
Right.
He becomes an art dealer.
Yeah.
It just seems odd.
Yeah.
How could someone, like, so passionate about art fail so badly at selling it?
Because to him, art was more than a product.
Oh, yeah.
He just couldn't, do the business side.
Uh-huh.
The idea of art as something to be bought and sold.
Right.
That clash between the spiritual and the commercial,
Right.
that just keeps coming up in his life.
It's a theme, yeah.
a theme.
And it wasn't just work. His love life was turbulent, too.
Oh, yeah.
Romantically, there was Eugenie Lawyer,
Oh, yeah.
the
Yeah.
landlord's daughter in London.
Right.
Didn't work out.
No.
Sets the stage for this pattern,
This pattern.
these intense,
Right.
often unrequited loves
Yeah.
in his life. He gives his all,
He does.
but it just never works out.
No.
It's like he's searching for that same connection
Right.
that he felt with religion,
Exactly.
but in his relationships,
Exactly.
So what does he do?
Yeah.
Tries teaching
Tries teaching.
at a boarding school
Right.
in England.
Yeah.
Doesn't last.
It doesn't last.
Back to religion.
Back to religion.
This time as a preacher.
Yeah.
But this wasn't just going back to what he knew.
No, it's a burning desire
Yeah.
to help the poor,
Uh-huh.
especially the miners in the Bornage
Yeah, in Belgium.
in Belgium.
Right.
He couldn't just preach from afar.
No.
He wanted to live among them,
Yeah.
share their struggles,
Totally.
offer comfort.
Like next level compassion, right?
Oh, it's radical compassion.
Radical compassion.
Yeah.
He gives everything away.
Yeah.
Lives in a tiny hut.
Yeah.
Gets dismissed by the church
Uh-huh.
for being too devoted.
Yeah, they expected a certain way to behave,
Right.
a distance.
Uh.
But he wanted to bridge the gap, truly understand them,
Yeah.
got him in trouble.
Right.
But it also shows
Yeah.
that depth of empathy.
And here,
Okay.
in this poverty and disillusionment,
Yeah.
that's where he finds his calling.
Right.
He starts sketching.
Yeah.
Initially focusing on the miners,
Right.
those faces, full of hardship
Yeah.
and resilience.
Powerful moment, isn't it?
Yes.
This act of sketching, capturing them,
Yeah.
it ignites the journey.
Yeah.
The man who gave us Starry Night
Right.
in the most unlikely of places.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Makes you think. Right. Those miners, their struggles,
Yeah.
they became the inspiration for one of the
Yeah.
most famous artists
Right.
in the world.
It really is something.
It is.
That inspiration comes from the most unexpected places.
That's true.
And for Van Gogh,
Right.
this was just the start.
The beginning.
He goes all in on art,
Yeah.
even though it meant turning away from everything he knew.
Such a big decision.
Huge.
Just like rejecting his family,
Yeah.
his whole upbringing,
Yeah.
embracing poverty.
Uncertainty.
Uncertainty.
I can't imagine the courage it took.
A lot of courage.
Yeah.
It was a leap of faith,
Okay.
driven by that deep feeling
Yeah.
that this was his path.
But was it tested, though?
Oh, constantly.
Constantly tested? I
Yeah.
mean, financially he struggled.
Yeah.
Relied almost entirely on Theo,
On Theo, right?
his brother,
His brother.
for support.
Yeah.
I mean, Theo's role is so important here.
Can't be overstated.
Can't be overstated.
Yeah.
I mean, not just a financial backer, but a confidant.
A champion.
A champion, yeah.
Yeah.
A lifeline, like, really.
Yeah.
And their letters
Oh, the letters.
are so revealing.
So revealing.
You know, in one, Vincent writes to Theo, "Just as the miners in the Borinage go to the pits, I go to my canvas."
Wow.
What do you make of that? It just shows that even in his art, he
Wrong.
felt this purpose,
Mm-hmm.
this connection
Yeah,
to something bigger.
totally.
He saw art as this way to explore what it means to be human, to give voice
Mm-hmm.
to those who were overlooked.
Yeah.
And Theo, through his support, through his understanding,
Right.
made it possible
Yeah.
for Vincent to follow that vision.
Okay, so let's talk about the art itself.
Okay.
Early on, big influence was Jean-Francois Millet.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of sketching.
Yeah.
Rural life, working class.
Yeah.
Why do you think Millet resonated so deeply with him?
I think because Millet's paintings,
Yeah.
they showed the world Van Gogh knew from the Borinage.
Yeah.
Those peasants, those laborers,
Mm.
their lives were hard, but also there's dignity there,
Totally.
resilience.
Yes.
And Millet captured that with an
Okay.
honesty that appealed to Van Gogh.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then comes The Potato Eaters. This painting is a turning point.
Big turning point.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a peasant family
Mm-hmm.
gathered for a simple meal.
Right.
Doesn't sound super groundbreaking,
Right.
but there's something raw
Right.
and authentic about it.
The Potato Eaters is revolutionary.
It is.
At the time,
Yep.
art was all about beauty,
Right.
romantic scenes.
Yeah.
But Van Gogh, he showed the reality
Yeah.
of peasant life,
Yeah.
their faces, their hands.
Uh-huh.
He showed the truth.
Even if it wasn't like
Ew.
conventionally beautiful.
Exactly.
And it's this powerful statement
Yes.
about ordinary lives.
Yeah,
And we know that resonated with him
of course.
from his time in the Borinage.
Absolutely.
But this commitment to authenticity,
Uh-huh.
it came at a cost.
Price.
Yeah. He still couldn't sell his paintings.
No.
He's still relying on Theo
Right.
for everything.
It really shows his integrity,
It does.
that he didn't compromise his vision just to make money.
For money,
Yeah.
he could have done landscape.
Exy landscapes.
Yeah, that would have sold,
Yeah.
but it would have betrayed everything,
Everything.
he believed in.
Everything.
Right. And then there's Cian,
See ya.
this woman he takes in.
Yeah.
Not a typical love story.
Wow. No, it was complex.
Complex.
Driven by compassion.
Yeah.
You know, she was destitute,
Right.
had a child.
Mm-hmm.
And Van Gogh, with that empathy,
Right.
he tried to provide,
Yeah.
tried to create this family.
Yeah.
But given his lifestyle,
Yeah.
his obsession with art,
His art,
it couldn't last.
it's unsustainable.
Unsustainable.
Yeah, reveals another side of him, right?
Yeah.
This capacity for love,
Mhm.
connection,
But also this inability.
inability to make it work.
Yeah.
To make it work.
Yeah.
In a traditional sense.
Yeah, within those expectations.
Right. And during this time,
Yeah.
another blow, right?
Yeah.
His father dies.
His father dies.
And their relationship.
Oh, fraught with tension.
So much tension.
Yeah.
Right.
You can imagine the disapproval.
Yeah.
His father, this man of God,
Right.
seeing his son reject everything.
Yeah, reject the path.
Living in poverty,
Uh-huh.
chasing this dream.
Yeah.
It just adds another layer of turmoil
Yeah.
to his life.
And so we've got like
Yeah.
the financial struggle,
Hmm.
the love problems,
Right.
the family drama.
Yeah.
On top of all of that,
Yeah.
he's still rejected
By the art world.
by the art world.
Right.
His skills are developing.
They are developing.
But the critics, the galleries,
They're not interested.
they're not interested.
No.
It's like he's too far ahead
Ahead of his time.
of his time.
Yeah. His style, his subjects,
Yeah.
they were too raw, too expressive
Yeah.
for what people wanted.
Yeah.
They wanted pretty pictures,
Yeah.
not these explorations of what it means to be human.
And yet, through it all,
Yeah.
he keeps painting,
Keeps painting,
keeps going,
pushing himself.
pushing himself.
Right.
And we see that in his letters to Theo.
Oh, yeah.
Hundreds of them.
Hundreds.
Filled with his thoughts.
Yeah.
Struggles, visions.
Visions.
I know.
These letters are more than just biography.
They're more
They are a window into the mind of a genius.
It's true.
Wrestling with life.
Wrestling with life.
They're raw.
Unfiltered.
Often heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But they reveal this brilliant mind
Yeah.
searching for beauty
Yeah.
in the midst of all of that.
All of that pain.
That pain,
Yeah.
grappling with his demons, trying to understand the world.
Those letters, they're really something.
They are.
Such a personal look into his mind.
Yeah.
But he's still facing rejection.
Right.
Still feels alone.
Even with all of Theo's support.
Right, even with Theo.
Yeah.
So what's next?
Well, Theo, being the amazing brother he is, suggests a change.
Okay.
He says, Vincent, you gotta go to Paris. It's the center of the art world.
Wow.
It wasn't just moving, it was diving headfirst into the avant-garde.
The avant-garde.
Yeah, the cutting edge.
So this is where it gets
This is where it gets good.
really interesting.
Artistically speaking.
Right, the art. He sees Impressionism firsthand.
Monet, Degas.
Those colors, those brushstrokes.
Capturing light, shadow.
Yeah.
Fleeting moments.
How did this impact him?
It was huge.
Yeah.
They challenged everything about how art was supposed to be.
Right.
It was all about the artist's experience.
Yeah.
Van Gogh, he was drawn to those bold colors, the way they captured the feeling of a scene, not just the details.
Right, the essence.
But he didn't want to just copy.
He wanted to take it further.
Push it even further.
Make it more emotional.
More intense.
And he finds this inspiration.
From a surprising source.
What's that?
Japanese woodblock prints.
Oh, interesting.
Bold lines, flattened perspectives.
Those colors.
Vibrant colors.
Yeah, I can see that.
They were becoming really popular in Europe.
And he was captivated.
Completely.
By
the aesthetic.
Yeah.
He saw a way to simplify forms,
Uh-huh.
to use color in a new way,
Yeah.
to make the canvas smooth.
You can see it in Starry Night, right?
Absolutely.
Those swirling skies, those cypress trees.
Like flames reaching up.
But even with all this,
Yeah.
the art scene, his style evolving,
Still struggling.
loneliness, insecurities,
Yeah.
can't escape it.
It's like a paradox.
How so?
He's at the center of the art world, surrounded by people who get it,
Right.
but he still feels alone.
An outsider.
An outsider.
And that fuels his art.
It makes it so personal, but somehow we all connect to it.
Yeah.
You see it in the self-portraits.
Those eyes.
Piercing.
Yeah.
Tormented but sensitive.
And then Paul Gauguin.
Another giant.
Post-Impressionism.
They actually become roommates
Roommates.
and collaborators.
Wow.
It was a volatile mix.
I can imagine.
Two brilliant minds, but so different.
Butting heads.
Yeah.
But they share that desire
To move past Impressionism.
to find new ways to express emotion.
With color, form.
But their approaches, though, different.
Fundamentally.
Right.
Gauguin was more about theory, the symbolism, abstraction,
And Van Gogh,
rooted in the real world,
the emotions we all feel.
raw emotions.
They made incredible art together.
They did.
But ultimately,
Too different.
the tension builds.
And then the ear,
The ears.
that infamous incident.
It's a reminder of his struggles.
His fragile mind.
But he kept creating
Even through that,
some of his most famous works
during that time,
in the asylum.
at Saint-Rémy,
The Starry Night.
the swirling sky,
The colors.
almost mystical.
It's iconic.
It captures both the beauty of the world and his inner turmoil.
Those brushstrokes.
That energy, like he's trying to understand his own chaos.
Find some order.
In the universe.
Confined. Yet his imagination
Soars!
beyond those walls. Irises, too.
Those blooms.
Bursting with color.
Like he's finding peace in nature.
Channeling those emotions.
Into something beautiful.
Lasting.
It shows the power of art.
To express.
What words can't.
Even in the darkest times.
He found purpose.
In creation.
In creation.
He leaves the asylum.
Goes to Auvers-sur-Oise.
That quiet village.
Near Paris.
Keeps painting.
Prolifically.
But his mind.
Still fragile.
And then, at 37,
he takes his own life.
a tragic ending.
To a brilliant but troubled life.
His legacy, though.
It lives on.
His art touches people.
Millions.
All over the world.
It makes you wonder,
What's that?
would his art have the same power if he'd found peace
Recognition.
during his life?
That's a tough question.
It is.
But it's worth thinking about.
Because sometimes
Yeah.
the darkness,
The struggle.
that's where brilliance comes from.
Van Gogh's life.
Complex,
triumph and tragedy.
Innovation and torment.
Lust for life gives us a glimpse
The glimpse into that.
to see not just the beauty,
But the cost.
the human cost.
Buying the art.
Well, that's it for our deep dive.
Into Lust for Life.
Irving Stone's amazing novel.
About Vincent van Gogh.
We've just scratched the surface.
But hopefully you see him differently now.
The man behind the paintings.
The man.
If you want to learn more, read the book.
You won't regret it.
It's a journey.
A journey.
Thanks for listening.